Welcome in, everybody, to the latest edition of Player Profiler Today, broadcasting on this fine Wednesday, July 17th. I'm your host, Grindberg, Mike Lindberg, senior analyst at the Player Profiler News Desk. It's a pleasure to be with you here and navigate through today's top stories and insights right here every Wednesday. So without further ado, let's jump into action with our headline story. Today, we are diving into Brandon Aiyuk's 2024 fantasy football outlook, which is brimming with uncertainty and drama following his trade request from the San Francisco 49ers. Moving along, we'll talk about Jordan Addison's 2024 prospects has been clouded by off-field issues and quarterback uncertainties, casting a shadow over his fantasy football outlook. And then we'll switch gears to the Cleveland Browns and stirring up excitement with recent gym footage showcasing Nick Chubb's intense strength training sessions. And lastly, Devonte Adams, the dynamic Las Vegas wide receiver, is causing waves as we approach this 2024 NFL season. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more, starting with our headline top story. Brandon Aiyuk's fantasy football outlook has been buzzing with uncertainty and drama following his trade request from the San Francisco 49ers yesterday. Amidst trade talks hitting a snag, Aiyuk, eyeing a salary comparable to the top NFL wide receivers at around $30 million annually, has voiced feelings of undervalued despite his standout 2023 performance, ending the season with a league best 17.9 yards per catch, showcased his ability to capitalize on every opportunity, even while competing for targets alongside Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and of course, Christian McCaffrey. Despite trade requests, the San Francisco 49ers seem reluctant to part with their 2020 first-round pick, leaning instead towards exercising his fifth-year option and potentially tagging him for 2025. This leaves Aiyuk in a precautionary spot for the upcoming season and potentially tagging him for 2025. This leaves it's just an uncertain situation, the contract status and role on the team's offensive scheme. For fantasy perspective, Aiyuk remains an enticing option, currently ranked as the wide receiver 13 by ADP, reflecting high expectations for his on-field impact if he stays with the 49ers. However, his potential to match or exceed his wide receiver 14 finish in 2023 hinges on resolving his contract issues and staying focused amidst the ongoing distractions. While the 49ers stance suggests they value Aiyuk as a pivotal player going forward, the situation could pivot quickly if a trade opportunity with an appealing offer arises. Teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Washington Commanders, the New England Patriots, the Los Angeles Chargers, and now the Buffalo Bills have all shown interest in bolstering their wide receiving group with Aiyuk's talents. Among these potential suitors, the Steelers stand out due to Aiyuk's expressed interest in playing there and their need for a reliable receiver alongside George Pickens. With ample cap space and a desire to strengthen their offensive arsenal under new quarterback Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh presents a compelling fit for Aiyuk's services. Another team, Washington, also emerges as a viable destination. You know, we've talked about him in a couple shows now. It's boasting his cap flexibility and seeking a standout wideout to complement Terry McLaurin. Aiyuk's prior connection with quarterback Jaden Daniels adds an intriguing dynamic to the Commanders' interest. For the Patriots, acquiring Aiyuk would address their long-standing need for a primary receiving threat, particularly with rookie quarterback Drake May entering the fold. New England's flexibility in cap space and history of making bold moves positions them as contenders if they meet the 49ers trade requirements. In Los Angeles, the Chargers could benefit from Aiyuk's addition to their receiving core, providing quarterback Justin Herbert with a dynamic playmaker capable of boosting their offensive potency. Aiyuk's ability to rack up yards after a catch aligns well with Herbert's skill set, potentially making him a pivotal asset in the Chargers' pursuit of success in the AFC West. Similarly, the Bills present an intriguing option, having recently traded away Stephon Diggs and looking to revamp the receiving core options alongside quarterback Josh Allen. Aiyuk's track record of production and versatility could seamlessly fit him into Buffalo's offensive strategy, offering Allen another weapon to exploit opposing defenses. So, as Aiyuk navigates his contract situation and possible trade scenarios, fantasy football gamers should consider closely to monitor these developments. His ability to stay focused amid offseason distractions and secure a resolution with the 49ers or thrive in a new environment will shape his fantasy value in 2024. With training camp approaching, Aiyuk's storyline promises more twists and turns, shedding light on his future in San Francisco and elsewhere in the NFL. Now, Brandon Aiyuk, for me, is a must stay away from. I don't like that situation. I think right now he's being drafted at his complete ceiling. There's no wiggle room here. If he moves off of the 49ers, where is he going? Is he going to an offense that's going to be as prolific? None of these offenses strike me as that, other than the Bills. I think that might be the jackpot situation, but I think that is the least likely of options, knowing where they stand financially, the Buffalo Bills. That would be the only place I see him actually increasing his ADP. Every other situation, I see it being a lateral move or a move in the step back. So I'm kind of off on Brandon Aiyuk this year, and especially with all the buzz that's happening around him. Now, let's talk about this injury finder. It's a great tool used here on Player Profiler, so let's get the Podfather to get his information about that.
Hey, you're in your fantasy draft and someone says, hey, that guy's injury prone, I don't want him. And you're like, I don't know, I don't think you can predict injuries. Well, guess what? Now you can! Injury proneness is real! At Player Profiler, we have the data on these players, and it's all in the Injury Finder app. Their injury track record back through time, exactly where they were injured, how severe it is. We look at the BMI data, and we crunch it all together, and we give you probabilities that a player will miss multiple games this NFL season, as well as the complete database of NFL injuries and the ability to compare two players and look at their injury track record. The Injury Finder is powerful, and it's only $5. If it's worth it to have that peace of mind when you're drafting, go get it.
Injury Finder, go get it. Now, Jordan Addison, his prospects have been marred by offseason issues and quarterback uncertainties, casting a shadow over his fantasy football outlook. Recently, reports from Minnesota indicate significant internal frustration towards Addison following his arrest of suspicious driving under the influence in California. This incident has sparked talks and a looming suspension either from the team or the league, further complicating his standing with the Vikings organization. Now, the details surrounding Addison's arrest paint a troubling picture. Found asleep in his white Rolls Royce, his actions caused a traffic obstruction near Los Angeles International Airport. This isn't Addison's first brush with legal trouble. As we all know, he has previously faced consequences from speeding at an alarming 140 miles per hour in a 55 zone just before his rookie season training camp. These reoccurring incidents raise serious concerns about his off-field behavior and decision-making. On the field, Addison showed promise in his rookie season with 911 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, earning him a fantasy wide receiver 28 finish. However, the departure of Kirk Cousins and injuries sidelining TJ Hawkinson has now clouded the 2024 fantasy outlook for this Jordan Addison, with uncertainty surrounding the development timelines of quarterbacks such as Sam Darnold, who is leading the race currently, and JJ McCarthy. Addison's role in the Vikings offense remains to be unclear. Fantasy gamers and drafters now must grapple with the dual uncertainties of Addison's off-field conduct and his role with the shifting offensive landscape. The potential for a suspension and ongoing concerns about his maturity make him a risky investment, especially at his current ADP, which I think is going to change pretty drastically over the next week or so as the Vikings navigate a challenging preseason marked by losses and adjustments. Addison's fantasy relevance hangs in the balance, requiring careful consideration before drafting him in 2024. So Jordan Addison, a guy we got to keep an eye on here, folks. We know his situation is very murky prior to these allegations, prior to this situation that went down. He's currently the wide receiver 2 in Minneapolis and for the Vikings, alongside Justin Jefferson, who has also lost some steam this offseason because of that murky quarterback situation. Jordan Addison was poised for a great season last year because of that injury to Justin Jefferson. There was some optimism heading into 2024 for him with the lack of TJ Hawkinson presence. So he could have started this year, really thriving in that offense. And now this looks like just a disaster. So I'm not looking forward to seeing how this Viking team progresses because of so much uncertainty. Are you guys enjoying the show? Well, don't miss out on more exclusive content. Subscribe to Player Profiler YouTube channel at Player Profiler News. Follow us on Twitter at Player Profiler _NFL and at our website, www.playerprofiler.news/news for all the latest breaking news and impact on fantasy football. Stay ahead of the game with Player Profiler. So this is our secondary channel. It's the support channel to the main channel. So please hit a subscribe to the Player Profiler news on YouTube. We're well over 500 subscriptions now. We want to push 1,000 before the season starts. So if y'all can help us get there, please do so. Now, Keon Boute has caught a break as Louisiana drops the underage gambling and fraud charges against him stemming from his time at LSU. This clears the way for the New England Patriots wide receiver to focus on the upcoming season without legal distractions. Despite this development, Boute's future with the Patriots remains uncertain. The team already is stacking up wide receiver talent. They drafted Jalen Polk and Javon Baker earlier this year, complicating Boute's path to a roster spot even further. With veterans like Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, and KJ Osborne, and you can't forget Juju Smith-Schuster and others ahead of him, Boute faces an uphill battle to even secure any sort of playing time, let alone make an impact in fantasy football this season. So in other NFL news, the Baltimore Ravens have placed Keaton Mitchell on the PUP list. This continues as he recovers from a late season ACL tear. Mitchell, who showed promise last season before his injury, will need more time to regain full strength. Fantasy gamers should avoid him in redraft leagues and best ball formats due to his uncertainty surrounding his return timeline. However, Mitchell holds some value in dynasty leagues and deeper formats where his explosive play style could pay off once he's back on the field. The Baltimore Ravens also have a rookie running back, Rasheen Ali. He faces an uphill battle to secure week 1 roster spots, but this injury to Keaton Mitchell has opened up the gate. He's going to have to establish himself behind guys like Derrick Henry and Justin Hill and Keaton Mitchell, but Ali is looking like he's going to compete for a role, possibly starting with special teams as a contributor there. According to Clifton Brown of the BaltimoreRavens.com, Ali's versatility and recovery from his bicep injury suffered at the Senior Bowl has not deterred his participation in mandatory minicamp, setting the stage for a significant role in preseason action, with Mitchell recovering from a knee injury and likely to miss substantial time in the preseason. Ali has a clear opportunity to solidify his place in the Ravens running back rotation behind Derrick Henry. His main competition will come from Justice Hill, a veteran back who is yet to surpass 400 yards in a single season. Now, Ali showcased his skills during his final season at Marshall, accumulating over 3,000 yards from scrimmage and scoring 42 touchdowns in 34 games. His ability to contribute as a runner and receiver, evidenced by his 1,100 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns, and 28 receptions and 213 yards, make him an intriguing prospect for deeper dynasty leagues, while his impact in 2024 redraft setups may be a little bit limited, especially at first here, but we're going to watch his development and role in the Ravens offense. And he could be a valuable stash if Derrick Henry's availability becomes uncertain during this season. As this season approaches, the Cleveland Browns are generating buzz with recent gym videos showcasing Nick Chubb's impressive strength training sessions despite a significant injury last season that raised doubts about his future performance. Chubb's latest achievement, squatting over 600 pounds multiple times, suggests he's making big strides in his recovery. While his readiness for training camp still remains uncertain, Chubb's progress is promising for his fantasy outlook, currently being valued as RB34 on Underdog Fantasy. With redraft season approaching, expect draft stock to rise if these camp videos continue to gain steam and buzz. The Browns running back situation revolves around Nick Chubb, but it's indicating injury is a potential comeback. However, it's still looming. Jerome Ford might emerge as a key figure still in this backfield. Ranked as RB42, he's poised to play a significant role regardless of Nick Chubb's early season availability. Ford showcased explosive playmaking abilities in 2023, accumulating over 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns, demonstrating his value both as a handcuff and receiving threat in Cleveland's offensive scheme. Looking forward, uncertainty remains regarding Chubb's timeline and immediate return, influencing fantasy gamers' strategy beyond the top 130 picks. Despite potential concerns about his efficiency post-injury, Chubb remains an attractive late-round target due to his established performance history and potential upside if he continues his path. Ford also offers considerable fantasy appeal, while Deontay Foreman, currently ranked 65 RB, provides a cost-effective option in drafts, benefiting from the Browns' productive offensive system for running backs. Now, if you guys were, paying attention to our shows the last 24 to 48 hours, you would have known, or you already know, that the Player Profiler world famous draft kit has been transforming fantasy football draft prep by blending the ease of a magazine with the technical know-how of Player Profiler. It stands out with its deep focus on team insights, player analysis, and cheat sheets, Overall, the world-famous draft kit sets a new benchmark by prioritizing quality insights and practical tools, empowering fantasy gamers to make smart draft decisions and dominate their leagues. You need to be getting this draft kit if you don't have it already. Go to our website, click on that subscribe button, and get it in your grasp. Now, Devonte Adams, the dynamic wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, is making waves as we approach the 2024 season. Recent statements from his agents have put to rest swirling rumors about trade talks, confirming Adams' commitment to the Raiders, despite speculation sparked by his former teammate, Aaron Rodgers, expressing an interest in a potential reunion, albeit with the New York Jets. Entering his 11th NFL season and third with the Raiders, Adams made a splash in Las Vegas following a blockbuster trade from Green Bay Packers in March of 2022. His move was driven not by a desire to be closer to family, but a reunion with college quarterback Derek Carr. However, Carr's departure after the 2022 season, coupled with the firing of head coach Josh McDaniels and general manager Dave Ziegler, has created challenges for Adams' ongoing organizational changes. Despite Adams' impressive stats over the last two seasons, 203 receptions, 2,600 yards, and 22 touchdowns. His 11.1 yards per catch average last season was one of the lowest with the Raiders, posting a combined record of 14-20 during this period. Adams has voiced frustration over the team's progress and his performance standards, highlighting his passion for drive for success. In the realm of fantasy football, Adams' situation with the Raiders brings uncertainty for fantasy gamers heading into 2024. His discontent with quarterback instability, moving from Rodgers' precise throws to Jimmy Garoppolo's inconsistent passes, has been evident. Adams' frustrations were even spotlighted on the Netflix series Receiver, showcasing his candid reactions to on-field challenges and quarterback issues. Looking ahead, the Raiders' decision not to address their quarterback situation in 2024 NFL Draft adds another layer of uncertainty. This raises doubts about the team's long-term strategy and commitment to providing Adams with stable quarterback play for crucial maximizing his fantasy potential. If Las Vegas enters a rebuilding phase, Adams' role and fantasy impact could further be complicated by how the team navigates its quarterback dynamics. Speculation continues about Adams potentially exploring opportunities with other teams like the Jets, where emerging star wide receiver Garrett Wilson has expressed interest in, reuniting him with Aaron Rodgers. Wilson's enthusiasm underscores Adams' value as a veteran playmaker, hitting a potential uptick in fantasy relevance if he were to join a team with a more stable offensive condition. As fantasy gamers plan for this upcoming season, Adams presents high risk, high reward options. His elite skills and proven track record suggest he can deliver significant fantasy points with the right quarterback and system. However, the uncertainty surrounding Adams' Las Vegas situation, alongside with possible mid-season or early season trades and quarterback changes, introduces significant and considerable risk to his fantasy outlook. Monitoring Adams' progress during training camp will be critical for fantasy managers assessing the impact and adjusting their draft strategies accordingly. We got to keep an eye on, especially that quarterback battle in Las Vegas, which is hearing like Aiden O'Connell has got the grace of Coach, AP Antonio Pierce this year. So it's his job to lose. So we'll see how things heat up in training camp there. All right, so we've hit up another episode here. That's the end of another episode of Player Profiler today. I'm your host, Grindberg, bringing you the freshest updates every Wednesday. Stick around as we continue to deep dive into the world of Player Profiler. For exclusive content and even more updates, follow me on X at FFCanuck99. thanks for hanging out with us today. Remember, tomorrow, Bradley Stalder is back with the Thursday night slot. So mark your calendars. Our YouTube channel continues to grow. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do so. We are pushing 600 subs now, and we want to do so by the end of the month here. So for the entire team here at Player Profile, be sure to pick up our world famous draft kit and have an epic evening. Cheers, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.